Chuke's 10mm extravaganza.
Greetings, folks. Welcome once again to Chuke's 10mm extravaganza. Just wanted to let you guys know about something I continue to agonize over, and that is which is better, the XD 10mm striker-fired XDM striker-fired pistol from Springfield, or the classic Glock 20 striker-fired pistol from Glock 10mm. Now, you don't have too many options when it comes to 10mm. For striker fire, these are the only options that I know of. That you can get a Springfield XDM or you can get a Glock 20. I tend to lean towards striker fired, double stacked, because of their high capacity and reliability. You know, there are some other 10mm options. I think your next best one, which may be better than both, I don't know, is the Tang Folio options. They have a million models, but those are hammered fired CZ75 clones, chambered in 10mm. I've had several of them. I traded my last one away because it had a problem that was easily fixed. So I am planning on getting another one in the next few weeks, and I'll continue to compare all of them. But for right now, I mean, these are your two options. Yes, there are some 1911s that chambered in 10mm. The cheaper ones are just junk. And then there's some nicer ones like the Ed Brown that can be very reliable, but again, you're limited to whatever 8 rounds, much less capacity. There's also the Bruno whatever FKN or whatever that thing is, and that's pretty cool, but it's very expensive as well. So the way I look at it, these are your two options: the Glock 20, 40, 29, and then the Springfield XDMs. They've got the 4.5 and whatever, the 5.2, or I forgot what models they have. They tried to copy the Glock models in size, like compact, full size, whatever. So those, I feel, are your two options. Now, the Glock has been around much longer, obviously. I mean, I started doing videos 7-8 years ago on this thing. The Glock has just, it took over Alaska a long time ago. Everybody carries Glock 20s. It's just a fact. They continue to sell like hotcakes. If you're a gun dealer up here and you've got 10 Glock 20s for sale, you're going to sell them pretty quickly there. I mean, they will sell, because that is what people want. They know somebody who has a Glock 20. I personally know several people that have killed bears with Glock 20s. One of them was even a charging brown bear. Well, my dad knows the guy, but it was the Kim Woodsman guy down in Homer. And yes, it was a smaller sow, but he killed a charging brown bear with his Glock 20. And that's just a fact. So, and people argue that, whether the 10mm is a capable round for bear defense. It's already been proven that it is. Yes, it's not as powerful as a big 44 Magnum, 454 Casull, but you've got that capacity, and that counts for something. Both of these are 15 round mags. Well, this is the California 10 rounder I have, but I do have 15 round mags for the Glock 20. And that brings me to the mags. I have always leaned more towards the Glock 20 than the XDM, and the reason is the mags. And I think this is just like a bias I have. For some reason, I feel the metal mags covered in polymer are a little tougher than just a straight metal mag, but that has not proven to be so. I mean, I like to think that, just because Glock mags, let's face it, are very reliable. I very rarely have had a problem with a Glock mag compared to like a 1911 mag. I mean, those things have problems left and right. I mean, that's the biggest problem with the Glock. I mean, the 1911 platform is their mags. I mean, they always go bad. But I haven't had any problems with Glock mags, but I haven't had problems with these metal mags too. I mean, they are very sturdy. I have a Hellcat that I've had for years. That's, well, 2 years since it's been out. it's had no problems. So these do hold up. So that was a bias I had, but I don't think it's true. Just because this mag isn't covered in polymer doesn't mean it's not a good mag. It obviously is a good mag, and they did torture test the XDM prior to it coming out. So I mean, it's been proven, I think, just about as reliable as a Glock. So just going through the differences, first of all, I don't think Glock Ergonomics are the greatest. I have grown to love it and I like the feel of it, but it's almost as if Glock designed their pistols not to be made for the human hand. It's almost like a conspiracy where they designed it not to, because when you look at the grip angle versus other guns like a SIG or a Springfield or something else, the grip angle is just awkward. The thing is I'm used to it. I'm used to training with a Glock 19, and so I end up firing this better. Triggers are also something to talk about. The Glock Gen 4 trigger is pretty crummy. It's like a spongy, it almost gets as bad as, a staple gun at times. It's not a very good trigger when you compare it to like some SIG Armor's trigger or something. The trigger on this Springfield XDM is excellent, though. I will say, hands down, if you just want to base what you want off a trigger, you don't care about the ergonomics or the platform or anything, you just want a good trigger, then I would choose the Springfield XDM. The trigger, I don't know if you guys can hear this, just smooth, very smooth trigger, while this trigger is just a clunky, way more take up, feels spongy, way more take up there. So it's just, by far, the trigger on this beats it. Now this is the threaded barrel version, so it's not a 4.5 inch barrel. I think this ends up being 5.2 inch or something. So I do have a little bit of advantage with this longer barrel, but the grip angle and everything feels nice. It does have this wonky grip safety, which I think is lame. I do not like it. I haven't had any problems with it, but if your leg is getting chewed up by a bear and you can only kind of grab it like this, you're not going to be able to fire at the bear unless you get like the full grip angle, which you want the full purchase anyways, but I just don't like it. It makes me nervous to have this extra safety there. Otherwise, they're both striker fire. I mean, this has a striker indicator in the back. I don't think that's as much of a deal. There's also the whole political thing that Springfield pulled that deal a few years ago. It was in Michigan or Illinois or something, where they tried to side with the anti-gunners so only they could sell guns in a certain area or something, or it would cut off small gun shops. Anyways, it was really bad. I don't understand the full aspect of it. It was really bad, and that makes me want to lean towards Glocks a little more as my first choice. I do think it's just a tool, and if it's going to save my life, I'm going to buy one regardless, and I do think it's an excellent gun. The grip is pretty awful. Long Windy Road brought that up, that it's got like no grip on this side panel, where you kind of need it when you press your palm up, especially with this hand. So I am going to look at getting some handle it grips or something, grip skin to put on there. I do have like some Talon grips on this thing. But yeah, as far as ergonomics go, this does feel better in the hand. It feels like it's a little higher bore. I don't know if that's true or not, but when I shot it, I do have to say I felt like I was more comfortable shooting the Glock, and that's only because I've practiced with a Glock 19 more, and this feels similar. Chuck says the same thing. He realizes that there are some definitely advantages to the XDM, but he just shoots Glocks better. And when Long Windy Road took it out, he was shooting the Glock 20 way better, even though this had a dot and he's used to shooting competition dots. And I think he's just used to shooting a Glock 19 and a Glock 34 more. So with some training, I think that you could do a better job with this, absolutely. This comes with the suppressor height sights, and I've got a junky Vortex Venom, which I do not like on there, but they have the MOS 40, which you can get for the Glock too, but it's just pretty cool. I wanted this in flat dark earth. Those are very hard to find. I was bidding like ridiculous amounts. Like I forgot what I bid, like $1,700 or something for one of these things, and I lost the bid. It was like $1,900, but I ended up settling for just the black version. But I mean, they're popular. People are choosing XDMs now almost as much as the Glocks here in Alaska, but it is the competitor with a very close second to the Glock. A lot more aftermarket support with the Glocks, but I don't think that's much of a big deal because the Lone Wolf barrels are junky. The KKM barrels are good, but I had problems with one older Glock 20, and since then I'm just keeping everything stock. I am going to get like maybe a 22-pound spring, recoil spring for this, but that's the only thing I'll change besides the sights. Everybody keeps telling me what an idiot I am for keeping these old plastic sights on here. I got some sights from Experticity, like Expert Voice. I got some XS sights, but they were the wrong size, so now I got to reorder them. So I am going to get new sights for this, but what was I even saying? Oh yeah, the aftermarket support. There's not as much aftermarket support for the XDM right now. I mean, they are getting some stuff. I haven't seen any barrels or conversion barrels or so. So if that's something that you're thinking about, definitely the Glock has an advantage to that. I also think there's more holsters and stuff, but there's holsters for that too. So when it comes down to it, just try both, see what fits your hand, see what you shoot better. I think if I had started off clean and I had no experience with either, I would probably stick with one of these just because of the trigger. The trigger does make a huge difference, but since I'm used to shooting Glocks, it's weird. I shoot a little better with this Glock, I think. Now, a Gen 5 Glock 20 would change things. Then I would say, oh, well, goodbye Springfield. It's, Glock is the supreme ruler, but people keep telling me, oh, I've got an inside scoop. They're coming out with the Gen 5 Glock 20s, 10 millimeters this year. People have been telling me that for a couple years now. I don't think it's going to happen. I did hear a rumor from an insider that said that because the internals were changed in the Glock 5, they don't support the really powerful rounds that a 10 millimeter would punish the gun with as much, and so they're just not as reliable with the Gen 5 configuration. I hope that's not true, because I'd love to see a Gen 5, mainly because of the trigger was really good. Now there are some aftermarket triggers that you can get with one of these two, and that's something you could consider, but I'm keeping it mostly stock. So let me know what you guys think. I still think that the Glock 20 is the best option, roughly in size. I prefer it over the Glock 29 and the 40. For a 10 millimeter, I think it slightly beats the Springfield XDM line. Not by much though. If you're new to guns, shoot both. There's a good chance that this might fit your hand better and might shoot for you better. So I'm not discounting this. It's an excellent, reliable 10 millimeter, but I'm still sticking with Glock 20. I say it wins. So let me know what you guys think, and we'll have more upcoming comparisons for 10 millimeters in the future. Thanks guys. Chuke, your friend in the field.
My name is Chuke. I like to trade my guns just for fun, but now I have none. Oh, look, get shot by a bear, but I don't care. I got a 10 millimeter. Shoots out adventure.